Hello, everyone. Welcome back to today's story. In this episode, after months of backbreaking work and countless sleepless nights, James and Diep finally take the boldest step of their lives, the grand opening of DJ Agricultural Company. What once started as a small fruit stall by the roadside has now grown into a dream built on courage, love, and sheer determination. But as new opportunities arrive, so do new challenges. Behind the cheerful banners and applause, both James and Diep must decide what kind of company they truly want to build. Stay until the end, because what happens today isn't just the birth of a business, it's the beginning of a legacy. And don't forget to subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Your support means the world to us. Morning sunlight dripped through the new glass windows, painting soft amber streaks across the polished floor. Banners fluttered outside with bright letters. DJ Agricultural Company, Grand Opening. Lytudiep stood in the doorway, her palms damp, her heart pounding like a drum inside her chest. For years, she'd worked under the burning sun, selling fruits by the roadside with hands calloused from lifting baskets heavier than herself. And now, here she was, founder and co-owner of an official company, her name side by side with his, James. The air buzzed with voices, laughter, and the faint rhythm of a folk song playing from the rented speaker. Farmers from nearby villages had gathered, their shirts still speckled with soil, eyes filled with curiosity and pride. Wooden crates of pomelos, bananas, and passion fruit stacked near the entrance gleamed under the morning light. The scent of ripe fruit and new paint mixed together, the smell of a fresh beginning. "Diep, ready?" James called, stepping out in a crisp white shirt and dark trousers that still smelled faintly of engine oil. His favorite scent of work, he carried the last basket of decorated fruit, the one for the ceremonial altar. "They're waiting for you outside." Diep laughed softly, brushing dust from her sleeve. "I'm nervous," she admitted. "My hands are shaking." "Good," James said with a grin. "Means it matters." They stepped out together. The banner above their heads fluttered at the breeze, red ribbons gleaming against the blue sky. The priest muttered blessings. Incense smoke curled upward like thin silver threads reaching for luck. Diep's mother, Mrs. Huyen, stood to one side with folded hands, her eyes glistening with pride. "My girl," she whispered quietly, "from selling limes in the rain to owning a company, you've gone far." Diep smiled, but said nothing. The memory of muddy markets, cheap scales, and aching feet rose like ghosts behind her. But today, they felt distant, softened by time and effort. When the priest handed her the scissors for the ribbon cutting, she hesitated, then looked at James. He nodded. Together, they cut the red silk ribbon cleanly in two. Applause burst like fireworks. "Congratulations to DJ Agricultural Company," shouted one of the villagers. Someone set off small paper firecrackers. The pops echoed through the field. Children ran laughing through the colored confetti that drifted in the air. James turned to the crowd, voice steady. "We built this company not from luck, but from faith. Faith that honest work can change a family's destiny. From this land, we'll send fruit to cities, and one day, maybe the world." The crowd cheered. Diep clasped her hands, her eyes damp. She added softly, "We'll buy directly from farmers. No middlemen, No unfair prices. Every hand that grows something deserves respect. Mrs. Huyen clapped from behind, pride radiating from her like sunlight. The simple promise in Diep's voice moved people. Some farmers nodded, whispering that this new company would change the game. Inside, a long wooden table stretched across the main room, filled with trays of sliced fruit, pomelos, mangoes, jackfruit, all neatly arranged. Small glasses of sugarcane juice glistened like liquid gold. The logo DJ Agricultural Company stood proudly on a backdrop painted with green leaves and a golden sun. As guests mingled, James leaned toward Diep. "You realize this means no more sleep until harvest season ends," he teased. Diep chuckled, eyes never leaving the logo. "I don't mind. I've had worse days. At least now, the sweat means something." A camera crew, borrowed from a local media friend, began filming. The interviewer, a cheerful young woman, held the mic out. "Miss Diep, could you share what inspired you to start DJ Agricultural Company?" Diep blinked, caught off guard. She laughed softly. "Honestly, hunger," she said, earning laughter from the crowd. "When I was younger, I dreamed of a small fruit stall. I never thought I'd one day have an office or a partner who believed in my crazy ideas. James showed me that failure wasn't the end. It was a lesson. Together, we want to make this land a place where farmers can be proud again." The interviewer smiled. "That's beautiful. And the name, DJ, stands for Diep and James?" James stepped forward, half smiling. "Yes, but also for something else. Dedication and journey. Because this company isn't just about us, it's about everyone walking this path." Applause rippled again. Outside, the workers loaded wooden crates of pomelos onto a small truck marked with the new DJ logo. The truck's engine roared to life, its first delivery. Diep followed the sound, eyes glowing as if watching a dream take its first breath. "This," she whispered, "is what I always hoped for." James came up beside her. "And it's only the beginning." They stood there quietly for a while. The sky had turned a soft gold, the sound of cicadas humming in the background. A breeze rustled the bamboo near the fence, carrying the scent of ripening fruit. Later that afternoon, after the guests had left and the courtyard was littered with confetti, Diep and James sat on the wooden steps, their shoulders barely touching. She removed her shoes, flexing her sore feet. "I thought starting a company would feel like flying," she said, smiling wryly. "But it feels more like standing on a cliff." James handed her a bottle of water. "That's good. Means you can see how far you've climbed." Diep laughed softly. "You always know what to say." "Not always," James admitted. "Sometimes I just guess and hope it sounds wise." They both chuckled. Behind them, the company sign glowed faintly in the fading sun, and in front, the orchard stretched endlessly, green rows that would one day feed the dream they'd built together. Night fell, and the small courtyard filled with soft light from hanging lanterns. Mrs. Huyen returned with Nee, carrying a small cake topped with fruit slices and candles. "We can't have a grand opening without dessert," she said with mock sternness. Nee giggled, jumping excitedly. "Blow the candles, Auntie Diep." "Uncle James, too." They lit the candles. The flame danced in the evening breeze. Diep closed her eyes, whispering a wish she didn't say aloud, that this company would grow roots deep enough to survive any storm. James's voice was low beside her. "Did you wish for success?" She opened her eyes, smiling. "No, for peace." He looked at her for a moment, then nodded. "Then I'll handle the success part." Their laughter echoed under the night sky. The fruit crates gleamed faintly under the lantern light, each one stamped with the bold letters DJ. It wasn't just a name, it was a promise. By dawn the next morning, the courtyard of DJ Agricultural Company was already alive. Trucks rumbled through the gate, their engines mixing with rooster crows from the nearby fields. Workers in matching green shirts unloaded baskets of fresh pomelos, mangoes, and papayas, setting them neatly on long bamboo racks. The scent of fruit and morning dew filled the air, a perfume of hard work and hope. Diep tied her hair into a bun, clipboard in hand, moving briskly between the workers. "Label those crates carefully. Batch 1 goes to the Central Market. Batch 2 to the juice factory in Hanoi," she called out. Her voice was firm but kind. For someone who once carried baskets for others, she now carried responsibility for everyone here. James stood nearby, talking to a supplier on the phone, brow furrowed. "No, I can't take the deal if they want half up front," he said, voice calm but determined. "Tell them we're new, not foolish." He hung up, then turned to Diep with a grin. "You know, our first argument with a trader feels like a milestone." Diep rolled her eyes, laughing. "If that's your idea of celebration, then I'm scared of how you'll handle success." James shrugged, still smiling. Success starts with saying no. Their laughter drifted across the orchard. Workers smiled as they passed. Everyone knew the story of how this couple built the company from almost nothing. How they'd pawned jewelry, sold their motorbike, and worked nights making fruit jam in borrowed kitchens. Their love had grown with the same patience as their trees, slow, weathered, and deeply rooted. A familiar voice called from the gate. "Oi, boss lady." It was Hung, James's cousin, riding a rusted motorbike with 2 sacks of fertilizer tied to the back. His hair was wild, his grin wide. "Brought what you ordered. Organic, straight from the supplier in Bakjiang." "Perfect timing," Diep said, waving him over. "Unload by the grapefruit rows." Hung glanced around, whistling low. "Wow, look at this place. Last time I came, there was just a wooden shed and a dream. Now it looks like a real company." James clapped his shoulder. "Still a dream, just one with more paperwork." Hung laughed. "And more bills, I bet." They all chuckled, but there was truth in his words. Every brick of progress came with a price. Rent, labor, supplies. The list stretched endlessly. Yet despite the exhaustion, Diep felt alive. Every problem meant growth. Every decision shaped their niche in the world of agricultural business. Later that morning, Diep sat in the office, reviewing documents under the hum of an old fan. The company's logo, 2 green leaves intertwined, hung proudly above her desk. James entered, holding 2 cups of hot tea. "You've been staring at those papers for hours," he said. "Drink." Diep accepted it, steam fogging her glasses. "I'm just checking our sales projections. If our first month hits even half the target, we can pay off the storage renovation." James leaned on the desk, watching her. "And if it doesn't?" Then, she said, meeting his eyes, we'll find another way. He smiled faintly. That relentless determination was what drew him to her, the same fire that made this company possible. Suddenly, Nye burst through the door, school bag bouncing. "Auntie Diep, Grandma said lunch is ready." Diep smiled, setting the papers aside. "All right, little one. Tell Grandma we're coming." They stepped out into the courtyard where Mrs. Huyen had set up a small meal under the shade of a jackfruit tree. Bowls of rice, sautéed greens, and a big pot of braised fish filled the table. "Eat before it gets cold," she said warmly. "You both need strength if you plan to feed half the province." James laughed, pulling out a chair. "Don't tempt us. We might actually do it." Diep sat down beside Nye, spooning rice into the child's bowl. "Did you draw something new today?" Nye nodded eagerly, pulling a paper from her bag. It showed a colorful sketch of their company, a big building surrounded by fruit trees and smiling workers. Across the top, in big wobbly letters, she'd written, "DJ Company, Happy Farm." Mrs. Huyen looked at it and chuckled softly. "Looks better than the real thing?" "Give us time," James said, smiling proudly at the drawing. "We'll make it look exactly like that." After lunch, the family sat together, enjoying the rare moment of calm. The hum of cicadas blended with the rustle of leaves. For a brief second, Diep let herself breathe. She'd spent years chasing security, but now, surrounded by people she loved, she realized success wasn't measured by the scale of the company. It was measured by peace. Then came the sound of an engine at the gate. A black pickup truck rolled in, sleek and shiny. A man in a suit stepped out, his expression sharp. "Good afternoon," he said politely. "I'm from Minha Trading. I heard DJ Agricultural is producing premium pomelos. We're interested in a partnership." Diep and James exchanged glances. It was their first potential big contract. They invited him inside. Papers spread across the desk, and conversation flowed. The man offered a large deal, 5 tons a month for export, but wanted exclusive rights to their brand name for the first year. James frowned immediately. "Exclusive rights? That means we can't sell to anyone else." "It's just for initial cooperation," the man replied smoothly. "You'll gain stable income and visibility." Diep hesitated. The offer was tempting. Secure money, a known distributor, but it also meant giving up freedom. She looked at James, his jaw set. Finally, she spoke softly but firmly. "DJ was built to help local farmers and grow on our own values. If we start by locking ourselves under another company's name, we're not growing. We're surrendering." The man leaned back, surprised. "You're confident for a new company?" "Not confidence," Diep said calmly. "Faith." James smiled slightly. "We'll consider your offer, but for now, we'll stay independent." The man stood, adjusting his tie. "Suit yourself. Offers like this don't come twice." He left, the truck disappearing down the dusty road. For a long moment, silence filled the room. Then Diep exhaled, tension melting from her shoulders. "Did we just make the biggest mistake of our lives?" she asked. "Maybe," James said, grinning. "But it's our mistake. And I'd rather fail by choice than succeed by compromise." Diep laughed, shaking her head. "You and your speeches." That night, as crickets sang and the lanterns glowed again. Diep stood outside the office, gazing at the company sign. The white letters shimmered faintly in the dark. Behind her, James joined her, wrapping a jacket around her shoulders. "Cold?" he asked. "A little," she murmured. "But happy?" He nodded, eyes following hers toward the sign. "One day, people will know this name, not because it's the biggest, but because it's honest." She smiled. DJ, Diep and James, dedication and journey. Whatever happens next, we'll walk it together. The wind swept gently through the orchard, carrying the faint scent of citrus blossoms. Somewhere in the distance, a nightbird called out. The lights from the company flickered like stars in the valley, small but unyielding. And in that quiet moment, beneath the endless sky, DJ Agricultural Company was more than just a business. It was a dream, reborn from soil, sweat, and love. A promise that even the smallest seed could change a destiny if nurtured with enough faith.